Hey, everybody in Loopland. Taylor here. Well, I'm really excited to tell you that I rebuilt FoodFinder to support Loop version 3.10.0. And in doing that, there were some exciting changes that we made that I want to highlight for you and demonstrate for you. But let me first start with a basic demo of FoodFinder. You can find FoodFinder enableable in the Add Carb Entry view. Here you can search for basic foods, apple, banana, whatever. That's just going to search the API for the USDA database. It's completely free and it's included and built in. But a better way to search for foods is like use a barcode. So we have a barcode scanner. So anything with a barcode in a box or a bag, you'll be able to scan. And that's really a very accurate way to capture the carbs and the calories, the fat, the protein, everything, all the nutrients you might care about. Just have to double check the amount consumed at the top, the number of carbs it's recommending based on the serving size. And if you're good with that, then you click continue like you would normally do. But the best part about FoodFinder has always been sort of the AI-based way of looking at food. So if you click the pulsating purple icon here for AI, I'm just going to choose a picture that's already in my library here. And it will, imagine I'm at a restaurant and I don't know, what to give myself for this. I could guess. I could maybe try to remember the diabetic training when I became diagnosed 25, 35, 45 years ago. I don't know. But now AI can fix all that for you and try to get you, a really good assessment of what it sees on the plate. And that has two important factors for us. Firstly, are we considering all the carbs that are involved in the meal that we're about to consume? And also, are we considering the portions of the meal that we're about to consume? I don't know about you, but I always underestimate what portion I think I see. And so what this will do now is it will not only examine what you should normally assume as far as nutriments in any given meal, but also how many portions it thinks it sees on the plate. And so you can see here, this thing thinks that there's twice the normal portion for salmon. Not a big deal for diabetics because there's no carbs in salmon. But what about brown and wild rice pilaf? It sees that maybe there's 2 times the normal serving size for a typical USDA-based serving size. So it's telling you all of this, and it's letting you, it's giving you the information that you need in order to judge whether or not you're giving yourself the appropriate amount of insulin. So hopefully you don't underdose yourself. Now, what this will translate to over time is better time in range because it should give you more confidence that you are dosing appropriate to the amount of food that you're eating. And that's really what gap this feature fills. In addition to that, if you're looking at a dessert or something like that, or there's some weird, glycemic index impact that it ascertains, the AI prompt is designed to try to extract that information from the picture and tell you, hey, I think you're going to have tiramisu, and that's got a high glycemic index as compared to the hamburger or whatever. This will also adjust the absorption time that it wants to try to predict, and it will tell you exactly why. And, this is really all about bringing information to the forefront and having basically a diabetic advisor in your pocket all the time. And so that's what is really cool about FoodFinder. I feel like this has helped me improve my time in range by at least 10 or 12% over the last year or two since I've been using it. And so, I hope you get the same results, and I hope that it will bring you the information that you need to feel more confident in dosing based on what it examines in the picture. If there's something in here you don't want to eat, you just simply remove it. I'm not a big carrots fan, so I'll just delete that, and it scratches it out, and it adjusts up here. It adjusts the amount of carbs that it thinks you're going to consume and all the nutrients, etc. accordingly. You can also mess with the servings here. If you're not going to have quite the servings that it thinks it sees, you can bump that down a bit. So it lets you stay in full control, but the most important part is it's about the information that it gives you. Um, Also, what we added in the most recent change here is, the ability to, you always had the ability to voice dictate foods, but now what happens is if you voice dictate a food, it doesn't just hit the USDA database, which was not working well. What it does is it actually moves that down the AI path. So let's try it out. Of telling AI, I'm having a roast beef sandwich. And if you describe what you're eating instead of taking a picture, it's going to do its best to take that information and give you what you need in order to dose. So, each slice of bread's probably around 15 grams in a typical, sandwich, et cetera. So it's pretty spot on. It gives you a little confidence level. I'm 75% confident this is correct, et cetera. Of course, all the caveats like I can't determine portion sizes because you're just telling me what you're eating, et cetera, et cetera. But the cool thing is it just gives you the more information that you need. So let's do another one. Let's look at another, photo of food. I'm just pulling them off my phone, but of course, pretend I took a picture. You're at a restaurant. You don't know what this thing is. You don't know what the portion is, and so this just gives you way more information about what it thinks you're about to consume. And I think the information is the key. And then lets you choose how to dose yourself, based on what you believe you're going to eat on that plate. You may not eat the quinoa, so you get rid of it. And that, obviously adjusts your carbs accordingly. Now, interestingly enough, this also will work for menus and recipes. So here's a menu item in Spanish, right? Traditional Spanish from like Spain. And it will try to figure out what it thinks it is by doing, first of all, it'll do OCR on the menu item, and then it will send that translation into your device's native language, in my case, English, and it will send that to AI, which is an improvement on the last way we used to do it, because what we used to do is it would just take a picture of it and it would try to shove that in down the AI path, and then the AI had to figure out, what am I reading? What is this? So the improvement is that it OCRs this beforehand and sends it to AI as a already translated submission. So that's pretty cool. It will do this for menus in all these different languages, most of the different languages out in the world, except for maybe those symbol-based languages like Japanese, Chinese, Korean. I have not tested it with that. But if anybody out there wants to try to test that, that would be fantastic. Give me feedback and let me know how we might be able to make that work as well. I mean, that's the cool thing about AI these days. You can do just about anything. So here we are in the settings section. Now, what's different between now and the last version was we made this AI API agnostic, so you don't have to choose, from a selection of available APIs. You can go get your own key from wherever you want, and it should work with one entry, just one section here. And you can pick from the 80% rule, right? OpenAI, Anthropic, Gemini, Grok probably covers 80% of the APIs out there that you would go and get and apply here. But the nice thing is, because it's agnostic to the API and the model you're using, you can update the model if you need to, as say Gemini updates their models over time. So they'll go from 2.0 Flash to 2.1, 2.5, whatever. You can play around with those. Those have to be image accepting AI models. That's the only caveat, is you have to make sure it will accept images for processing. But you should be able to maintain it over time and not have to complain that, oh, shoot, it doesn't now support the newest version of Gemini models. That was a big problem for people, and I hated that. So we fixed that. And you can test the connection ahead of time, and hopefully you get a positive result. But this is a cool feature, making it agnostic for you. And also, if you have your own self-hosted kind of model, like on Azure or whatever, that's where the advanced API settings options live. And sometimes those require versions and org IDs and endpoint path augmentations and things like that. So we are trying to support as many API options for AI as possible. The USDA database text is just for the text search. You don't need an API for that, but you'll get generally better performance if you create one. It's free, and you would just plug it in there. So that's it. And then up here, you can choose how long of a history you want analyzed searches or image analyzations to be kept for up to 30 days as a record. And then if you choose, you can go back, look at that, and apply it to a carb entry event if you want. And then advanced dosing insights is where you get into fat protein units and advanced stuff. It gives you like 5 or 6 different advanced ways of analyzing the food and giving you that information in order to help you decide, whether or not you want to accept its carb suggestion. That's basically it. Oh, and where you will find those historic scanned results is here under recent AI analyses. And so you can see here the foie gras that we examined. See, it just pops it right up if I'm going to have foie gras again, Or if I wanted to pick a different one like grilled chicken breast, it will go up and adjust all of that based on your, most recent history. So that is FoodFinder for Loop 3.10.0. Also, an important part about FoodFinder, this new version, is we've packaged it so it has the most minimized access to Loop native files, meaning there's a very small footprint. We change very few files in Loop. Everything else is contained in its own FoodFinder files. Hopefully what that'll mean is it'll be easier for folks to download and apply it and merge it into their existing implementations of Loop. And over time, we're gonna make sure it just keeps that footprint as minimal as possible. So that's Loop for 3.10.0 and forward. And if you have feedback, I really appreciate it if you would give me that feedback and let me help augment it even more. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it helps you improve your time in